The acceptance letter from Stanford lay on my desk, mocking me with its promises of a future I thought was finally within reach. I'd spent the last hour staring at my bank account balance, refreshing the page over and over, hoping there was some mistake. There wasn't. My college fund, all $47,000 of it, had vanished, leaving behind a measly $840. I'm Deborah, and this was supposed to be my moment. After years of straight A's, volunteer work, and sacrificing my social life to build the perfect college application, everything was falling apart. "Mom!" I shouted, storming downstairs with my laptop. "What happened to my college fund?" My mother, Michaela, was in the kitchen preparing dinner with my brother Jason and his girlfriend Laura. They were laughing about something, but the sound died as soon as they saw my face. "Honey, what's wrong?" Mom wiped her hands on her apron, frowning. "My college fund is empty. Almost $50,000. Gone." My voice cracked. "Please tell me this is some kind of banking error." The kitchen fell silent. Jason suddenly became very interested in chopping vegetables, while Lara shifted uncomfortably beside him. "About that," Mom started, exchanging a glance with Jason. "Your brother needed the money for something important." "Important?" I repeated, my stomach dropping. As if on cue, Lara raised her left hand, and a massive diamond ring caught the light. My world tilted sideways as the pieces clicked into place. "You took my college fund to buy an engagement ring?" I whispered, staring at Jason in disbelief. "Deb, listen." Jason turned to face me, his expression pleading. "I'll pay you back, I promise." But this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I needed to show Lara how much she means to me. "Oh, once in a lifetime?" I laughed, but it came out more like a sob. "What about my once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go to Stanford?" "Stanford will still be there," Mom said soothingly. "You can take a gap year, work, and save up." "Are you serious right now?" I cut her off. "You're defending this?" "Love is important, Deborah," Mom insisted. "Jason and Lara are starting their life together. This is a beautiful moment for our family." "Beautiful?" My voice rose. "He stole from me. That money was for my education." Lara looked increasingly uncomfortable. "Jason, you said the ring was from your savings." "It was a family decision," Mom interjected before Jason could respond. "We all agreed." "I never agreed to anything." I slammed my laptop shut. "Dad would never—" "Your father understands that family supports family," Mom said firmly. "Jason will pay you back eventually." Eventually?" I was shaking now. "I need that money for fall semester. I've already accepted Stanford's offer." "You're being selfish," Jason said, his tone hardening. "This is bigger than just you. Lara and I—" "Selfish?" I stepped back, feeling like I'd been slapped. "You steal my future, and I'm the selfish one?" I looked around the kitchen, at Jason's defensive stance, Mom's disapproving frown, and Lara's guilty expression, and realized with crushing clarity that they saw nothing wrong with what had happened. In their minds, Jason's romantic gesture trumped my education. "I'm calling Dad," I announced, pulling out my phone. "He's in a meeting," Mom said quickly, "and he agrees with our decision." That's when I knew. Dad had no idea. The tears I'd been holding back started falling. "You know what?" I grabbed my car keys from the counter. "This isn't over. What you did is illegal, Jason. You can't just take money that isn't yours." "Don't be dramatic," Jason scoffed. "We're family. You can't sue family." "Watch me," I spat, heading for the door. "Deborah Hopkins, don't you dare walk out that door," Mom called after me. I turned back one last time. That money represented everything I've worked for, everything I've dreamed of, and you all decided it meant nothing compared to a stupid ring. "Love means sacrifice," Mom said softly. "Yeah?" I wiped my eyes angrily. "Well, I hope that ring was worth it, because you just sacrificed one daughter to buy another." I slammed the door behind me, my hands shaking as I got into my car. As I pulled out of the driveway, I could see Mom and Jason watching from the window. They probably thought I'd cool off and come back, ready to accept their twisted logic about family and love. They were wrong. I pulled up Google on my phone and typed, "lawyers near me." If my family wouldn't fight for my future, I'd do it myself. The law office of Griffin and Associates looked more like a trendy startup than a place where people's lives got put back together. I sat across from Hamza Griffin, trying not to fidget as he reviewed my bank statements. "Let me get this straight," he said, looking up from the papers. "Your brother withdrew $47,000 from your college fund to buy an engagement ring?" "Yes." I twisted the tissue in my hands. "My mom claims they had the right because it's a family account, but my name is the only one on it. My grandparents set it up specifically for my education." Hamza leaned back in his chair, his dark eyes sharp. "They didn't. Your brother committed theft, and your mother is an accessory. This is clear-cut." "Can you help me get it back?" "Absolutely. But are you prepared for what this means? Taking legal action against family is never easy." Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. Another text from Mom. "Family dinner tonight. We need to talk about this rationally. Please come home." I showed Hamza the message. He nodded thoughtfully. "Actually, this could be good. Go to dinner, record everything. The more evidence we have, the stronger our case." 2 hours later, I walked into my childhood home. The smell of Mom's lasagna filled the air, but my stomach was too knotted to feel hungry. "Deborah!" Dad rushed to hug me. "Where have you been? We've been worried sick." "Really?" I pulled away. "Did Mom tell you what happened?" Dad's expression tightened. "Let's discuss this calmly over dinner." Everyone was already seated at the table. Mom, Jason, and Lara. The diamond on her finger caught the light, and I had to look away. "I spoke to a lawyer today," I announced, sitting down. The clatter of silverware stopped. "You what?" Jason's face reddened. "Are you insane?" "No, I'm being practical. You stole my money, Jason. That's a crime." "Nobody stole anything," Mom interjected. "We redistributed family resources." "Stop." Dad's voice cut through the tension. "What exactly happened to Deborah's college fund?" Mom and Jason exchanged glances. "You didn't tell him?" I laughed bitterly. "Of course you didn't." "Tell me what?" Dad demanded. "Jason took my entire college fund to buy Lara's engagement ring, and Mom helped him do it." The color drained from Dad's face. "Is this true?" "Anton, please understand." Mom reached for his hand. "Jason needed to make a grand gesture. With our daughter's education money?" Dad stood up so quickly, his chair fell backward. "Have you both lost your minds?" "Dad, I can explain," Jason started. "Explain what? How you stole your sister's future?" Dad turned to Mom. "And you allowed this?" "Love requires sacrifice." Mom repeated her mantra from yesterday. "Then Jason should have sacrificed his own money," Dad shouted. "Not his sister's." Lara suddenly pushed back from the table. I can't wear this ring knowing where it came from." Her hands trembled as she tried to remove it. "Babe, don't," Jason pleaded. "This isn't about the ring anymore. This is about family loyalty." "Loyalty?" I stood up. "You want to talk about loyalty? Where was your loyalty when you decided my dreams meant nothing compared to your romantic gestures?" I found something interesting today," I continued, pulling out my phone. "Mom's been helping Jason make unauthorized withdrawals for months. Small amounts at first, then bigger ones. You were testing to see if I'd notice, weren't you?" Mom's face went pale. "How did you—" "Bank records don't lie, Mom. The lawyer said it's all documented." "You're really going through with this?" Jason asked incredulously. "You'd drag our family through court? You did this," I said quietly. "Not me. I'm just trying to get back what's mine." "I'll write you a check right now," Jason said desperately. "We can forget this whole thing." "Can we? Can we forget how easily you betrayed me? How Mom chose you over me? How you both lied to Dad?" Dad put his hand on my shoulder. "I'm calling my lawyer first thing tomorrow. This ends now." "Anton!" Mom gasped. "No, Michaela. Our daughter worked her whole life for Stanford. I won't let anyone, not even her brother, take that away from her." I looked at my father with tears in my eyes. Finally, someone was in my corner. You have until tomorrow to return the money, Dad told Jason, or Deborah's lawyer will file charges. Your choice. As I left that night, I heard Mom crying and Jason arguing with Lara. The family was fracturing, but for the first time since this nightmare began, I felt strong. Sometimes fighting for yourself means being willing to break what's already broken to build something better. My phone buzzed. A text from Hamza. How did it go? I typed back. Exactly as planned. We have everything on record. The game was on, and this time, I wasn't backing down. Hamza spread the financial documents across his desk, like he was dealing cards. Your mother's been busy, he said, pointing to a series of highlighted transactions. These withdrawals go back further than just your college fund. I leaned forward, squinting at the numbers. What do you mean? Look at these transfers from your grandparents' estate. Money that was meant to be held in trust keeps disappearing into various accounts. A knock at the door interrupted us. Hamza's assistant poked her head in. Ms. Wells is here to see you. My heart stopped. Lara walked in, clutching her designer purse like a shield. I'm sorry to show up unannounced, she said, hovering by the door. But I need to tell you something. Hamza gestured to an empty chair. Please sit. Jason doesn't know I'm here. Lara twisted the engagement ring on her finger. But I can't sleep at night knowing what he did. What they all did. What do you mean, they all? I asked. Last night, after the dinner, I overheard Jason and your mom talking. They're planning to hide assets. Move money around so you can't trace it. Lara's voice shook. They mentioned something about offshore accounts and your grandparents' inheritance. Hamza started taking notes. Can you be more specific? They're meeting with someone today, a financial advisor who specializes in creative accounting. That's how they phrased it. Lara finally looked at me. I'm so sorry, Deborah. I had no idea about any of this when Jason proposed. My phone buzzed. A text from Dad. Found something in your mom's office. Come home while she's out. I have to go. I stood up abruptly. My dad found something. I'll come with you, Hamza said, gathering his briefcase. We need to document everything. 20 minutes later, we were in Mom's home office. Dad was already there, pulling files from a hidden compartment behind her desk drawer. Look at this! He handed me a stack of papers. Bank statements, transfer records, letters from your grandparents' lawyer. Your mother's been systematically draining accounts for years, Hamza said, reviewing the documents. Not just Deborah's college fund. I've been such a fool. Dad sank into Mom's chair. I trusted her to handle all our finances. I never questioned. The front door slammed. Anton, why is there a car I don't recognize in our driveway? Mom's voice drifted up the stairs. Footsteps approached. What are you all doing in my office? Mom froze in the doorway, her face draining of color when she saw the open drawer, the scattered papers. How long have you been stealing from us, Michaela? Dad's voice was deadly quiet. I haven't stolen anything. I've been protecting our family's interests. By draining our daughter's college fund, by hiding money from your own parents' estate. You don't understand, Mom's voice rose. Jason needed. Stop lying, I shouted. This isn't about Jason anymore. This is about years of theft and manipulation. Mom's phone rang. She glanced at it, then quickly declined the call. That was Jason, wasn't it? I asked. Warning you that Lara came to see me? Mom's expression confirmed it. Mrs. Hopkins, Hamza stepped forward. I suggest you contact your own lawyer. We have enough evidence here to… Evidence? Mom laughed hysterically. You think you can come into my house, go through my private papers? Papers that prove you've been embezzling money, Dad cut in. From our children, from your parents. I did everything for this family. Mom's composure cracked. Every penny went to giving us a better life. A better life? I gestured around the office. Like that cruise you took last year? Or Jason's new car? Was that worth destroying my future? You ungrateful! Mom lunged for the papers in Hamza's hands. Dad caught her arm. Don't make this worse, Michaela. A new voice joined the chaos. Mom? What's going on? Jason stood in the doorway, his face darkening when he saw Hamza. "They're trying to destroy our family," Mom cried. "Your sister brought a lawyer into our home." "Ah, after you and Jason met with a financial advisor to hide evidence," I shot back. "Yeah, Lara told me everything." Jason's face went red. "She what?" "Game's over," Hamza said calmly. "We have enough to file charges against both of you. The only question is, how much worse do you want to make this for yourselves?" Mom collapsed into a chair, tears streaming down her face. Jason stood frozen, looking lost. Dad picked up his car keys. "I'm calling my lawyer, and then I'm calling your grandparents. They deserve to know what you've done with their money." As we left the office, I heard Mom sobbing and Jason trying to call Lara. The house of cards was finally falling, and no amount of family loyalty could prop it up anymore. The manila envelope arrived at Hamza's office 3 days after the confrontation. No return address, just my name written in unfamiliar handwriting. Inside were bank statements, old emails, and a handwritten letter that made my hands shake. "Read this." I thrust the letter at Hamza. "It's from my grandmother, dated 2 months before she died." He adjusted his glasses and began reading aloud. "Dearest Michaela, I'm writing to express my deep disappointment. The trust fund was established for both your children's education, not for your personal use. If you don't return the money you've taken, I'll have no choice but to involve my lawyers." "She knew," I whispered. "Grandma knew Mom was stealing before she died." My phone lit up with a text from Lara. "Jason's at my apartment. He's desperate. Can we meet?" 20 minutes later, I walked into a coffee shop to find Lara sitting with a tall woman I recognized as her mother, Sadie. "Thank you for coming," Sadie said, her expression grave. "We need to talk about Jason." "He showed up at our house at midnight," Lara explained, her eyes red from crying. "He's saying you're trying to frame your mother, that none of this is true." "I have proof." I pulled out copies of the documents. "Everything's here. The unauthorized withdrawals, the hidden accounts, the letter from my grandmother." Sadie examined the papers, her frown deepening. "This is serious, Lara. We're talking about years of financial fraud." "I know." Lara twisted her engagement ring. "That's why I—" The bell above the door chimed. Jason burst in, his face flushed with anger. "So this is where you've been hiding?" He spat at Lara. Then he saw me. "Of course. Turning my own fiancé against me wasn't enough?" "Jason," Sadie stood up. "Sit down and lower your voice." "Stay out of this," Jason snapped. "This is family business." "It became my business when you used stolen money to propose to my daughter." "It wasn't stolen. It was a family account." "Stop lying," I cut in. "We have Grandma's letter. She knew what Mom was doing." Jason's face went pale. "What letter?" I slid the envelope across the table. As he read, his hands started trembling. "This doesn't prove anything," he said, but his voice lacked conviction. "Really?" I pulled out my phone. "Should I play the recording from Mom's office? Or maybe we should call Grandpa and ask about the trust fund Mom drained." "You don't understand," Jason's voice cracked. "Mom was just trying to help me get started in life. The ring, my car, my apartment. See, all bought with stolen money," Sadie finished. "Money meant for both children's education." "I can fix this." Jason turned to Lara. "Baby, please, just give me time to sort this out." Lara slowly pulled off her engagement ring. "I can't marry someone who would steal from his own sister." "Lara, don't." "She's right," Sadie said firmly. "Until this is resolved legally, I don't want you contacting my daughter." Jason's face twisted with rage. He grabbed the envelope, scattering papers across the table. "You've ruined everything," he shouted at me. "Mom was right. You're nothing but a selfish little—" "That's enough." A barista approached our table. "Sir, I need you to leave before I call the police." Jason looked around, suddenly aware of the other customers staring. His shoulders slumped. "This isn't over," he muttered, heading for the door. "I'll double whatever you lost. Just drop the lawsuit." "It's not about the money anymore," I called after him. "It's about the truth." After he left, Lara broke down crying. Sadie hugged her daughter while I gathered the scattered documents. I found something else, I said quietly, pulling out another paper. Mom's been paying Jason's rent, his car payments, everything, all from accounts that weren't hers to touch. He knew where the money was coming from. He's as guilty as she is. What are you going to do? Lara asked, wiping her eyes. My phone buzzed. A text from Dad. Your mother's gone. Packed a bag and left, not answering her phone. Looks like Mom's running. I showed them the message. But it's too late. Hamza's filing the lawsuit tomorrow. I'll testify, Lara said suddenly, about everything I overheard, about Jason's confession. All of it. Sadie squeezed her daughter's hand. We both will. Some things are more important than protecting people who refuse to protect themselves. As I drove home, I thought about Jason's offer to pay me double. He still didn't get it. This wasn't just about money anymore. It was about years of lies, manipulation, and betrayal. The truth was finally coming out, and no amount of money could buy back the trust they'd broken. The lawsuit would be filed in the morning. There was no turning back now. The media's going to have a field day with this, Hamza said, spreading the morning newspaper across his desk. The headline screamed, Local family fraud. Mother and son accused of stealing college fund. I didn't want it to go public, I sighed, scanning the article. How did they find out? Your mother did that. Hamza handed me his tablet. She's been posting on social media, playing the victim, claims you're destroying the family over a simple misunderstanding. Before I could respond, his office door burst open. Mom stormed in, looking nothing like the polished woman I remembered. Her hair was messy, her makeup smeared. How dare you? She snarled at Hamza. Filing charges without even trying to negotiate? Mrs. Hopkins, you need to leave. Hamza stood up. Any communication should go through your lawyer. I'm here to talk to my daughter. Mom turned to me, her voice softening. Sweetheart, please, drop this lawsuit. We can work something out. Like you worked something out with Grandma? I pulled out her letter. She gave you a chance to make things right, and you ignored her. Mom's face crumpled. You don't understand. Your brother needed... Stop! I slammed my hand on the desk. Stop making this about Jason. This is about you stealing from everyone who trusted you. Your father's filing for divorce, she whispered. Is that what you wanted? To tear our family apart? You did that yourself, I said. Where have you been the past 3 days anyway? She wouldn't meet my eyes. Taking care of things. Moving money around? Hamza asked casually. Because we've already frozen all the accounts we could trace. Mom's phone rang. She glanced at it, then quickly declined the call. That's the third time you've ignored Jason's call since you walked in, I noted. Trouble in paradise? He's... struggling, Mom admitted. The publicity is affecting his job. His apartment complex is evicting him since the rent payments were fraudulent. Actions have consequences, Hamza said. Speaking of which, we have a meeting with the DA tomorrow. Mom's face went white. The DA? But this is a civil matter. Financial fraud is a criminal offense, Hamza explained, especially when it involves trust funds and estates. A commotion outside the office drew our attention. Jason's voice carried through the door. I don't care if I don't have an appointment. He burst in, followed by Hamza's flustered assistant. His expensive suit was wrinkled, his eyes wild. You have to stop this, he begged. They're investigating me at work. Lara won't return my calls. Everything's falling apart. Maybe you should have thought about that before stealing my future, I said coldly. I'll pay you back. Double, triple. Jason ran his hands through his hair. Mom, tell her. I can't. Mom's voice broke. The accounts, they're empty. I tried to access them this morning. What? Jason stared at her. What about the offshore accounts? The investments? Frozen, Hamza smiled. Along with evidence of tax evasion we've forwarded to the IRS. You promised you had it handled. Jason turned on Mom. You said nobody could trace it. I tried, Mom started crying. But your sister's lawyer is very good at his job, Hamza finished. Now, unless you both want to confess and make restitution, I suggest you leave. Restitution? Jason laughed hysterically. I lost my job this morning, my apartment, everything. Then I guess you know how it feels to have your future stolen. I stood up. The difference is, you did this to yourself. A knock at the door revealed Lara and Sadie. They froze at the scene before them. Perfect timing, Hamza said. We were just discussing tomorrow's meeting with the DA. You? Jason stared at Lara. You're helping them? I'm helping the truth come out, Lara said quietly. Someone has to. We have your confession on record, Sadie added. From the coffee shop? Very admissible in court. Mom sank into a chair, all fight leaving her. It's over, Jason. We've lost. No. Jason straightened his tie, desperation turning to determination. I won't let you ruin me. I'll tell them everything. How it was all your idea. How you manipulated me. Jason, Mom gasped. Every withdrawal, every hidden account, he continued. I'll tell them everything if you don't fix this. I watched my brother and mother turn on each other, their carefully constructed world of lies crumbling. Tomorrow, they'd face the DA. Their crimes would be laid bare, their excuses exposed. But right now, watching them destroy each other, I realized I'd already won something more valuable than money. I'd found my strength, my voice, and people who stood by the truth no matter what. The rest was just paperwork. The courthouse steps were crowded with reporters. I gripped Hamza's arm as we pushed through the crowd, their questions hitting like bullets. Deborah, how does it feel to sue your own family? Is it true your brother used your college fund for an engagement ring? No, any comment on your mother's social media posts? Inside, the courtroom was already packed. Dad sat in the front row with his lawyer, looking like he'd aged 10 years. Behind him sat Lara and Sadie, both dressed formally for their testimony. Mom and Jason entered from the other door with their lawyers. Mom wore her favorite pearl necklace, her armor for important occasions. Jason had shaved and wore a new suit, playing the role of the repentant son. All rise, the bailiff called as Judge Martinez entered. The opening statements were a blur of legal terminology, but the real drama started when Mom took the stand. Mrs. Hopkins, Hamza approached her, can you explain why you felt entitled to access your daughter's college fund without her knowledge or consent? I was protecting my family's interests. Mom's voice wavered. As a mother, please answer the question directly. Did you or did you not knowingly transfer funds from an account designated solely for your daughter's education? Yes, but. And were you aware that your own mother confronted you about similar unauthorized withdrawals from her estate before her death? Mom's face crumpled. She didn't understand. Jason needed. Your Honor, Hamza interrupted, producing documents. I'd like to enter into evidence this letter from the deceased Mrs. Margaret Wilson, expressing her knowledge of the defendant's systematic theft from family accounts. The courtroom buzzed with whispers. Mom's lawyer looked pained. Jason was next on the stand. He'd barely sat down when he started talking. I want to confess, he blurted out. Mom told me the money was from a family account. She handled everything. I didn't know. Oh, objection! Mom's lawyer jumped up. My client's son is clearly under duress. Your Honor, Jason's lawyer intervened. My client wishes to make a full statement. Judge Martinez leaned forward. Proceed, Mr. Hopkins. Mom's been moving money around for years. Jason's words tumbled out. She said it was her right as family manager. The engagement ring, my apartment, my car. She handled all the payments. I didn't ask where the money came from. I didn't want to know. Mom let out a choked sob. Her lawyer whispered urgently in her ear. Then it was my turn. I walked to the stand on shaking legs. Ms. Hopkins, Hamza began, when did you first discover the theft? When I checked my account after receiving my Stanford acceptance letter. My voice grew stronger as I spoke. Nearly $50,000 was gone. When I confronted my family, my mother and brother tried to justify it as a family decision. They said love required sacrifice. My sacrifice. And how did this affect your education plans? Stanford was my dream. I worked my entire life for that acceptance letter. In one moment, my own family stole that future from me. Not just the money, but the trust, the security of knowing your family has your back. The judge interrupted. Ms. Hopkins, your academic record is exceptional. Full scholarship offers from several universities. Why was Stanford so important? I looked directly at Mom and Jason. Because I earned it. Every grade, every volunteer hour, every late night studying. That was my work, my future. And they decided their wants were more important than my dreams. Lara's testimony came next, describing the conversations she'd overheard about hiding assets. Then, Sadie presented records of the fraudulent rent payments for Jason's apartment. Finally, Dad took the stand. He looked broken, but determined. I trusted my wife to manage our finances, he said quietly. I failed my daughter by not paying attention, but I'm here to make it right. The judge called a brief recess before delivering her decision. In the hallway, Jason approached me. Deb, please. His voice cracked. I'll do anything. Just ask them to go easy on us. You had chances to make this right, I stepped back. Many chances. This is what accountability looks like. When court resumed, Judge Martinez didn't mince words. The evidence of long-term financial fraud is overwhelming, she began. This court orders full restitution of all misappropriated funds, plus interest. Furthermore, given the criminal nature of these actions, I am referring this case to the district attorney's office for potential criminal charges. Mom collapsed against her lawyer. Jason put his head in his hands. Additionally, the judge continued, I am issuing an order freezing all remaining assets pending criminal investigation. As we left the courthouse, reporters swarmed again. But this time, I faced them. Today isn't about revenge, I said clearly. It's about justice. About standing up for yourself, even when the people who should protect you are the ones causing harm. The cameras flashed, capturing the moment my family's facade finally shattered completely. The media coverage exploded overnight. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing with notifications from news outlets and social media. Local morning shows played clips from my courthouse statement on repeat. You've gone viral, Hamza said, showing me his tablet. Your story's resonating with people. Look at these comments. I scrolled through hundreds of supportive messages from people sharing similar stories of family betrayal and financial abuse. The hashtag #StandLikeDeborah was trending. A knock at Hamza's office door made us both look up. It was Lara, clutching a newspaper. Have you seen this? She spread out the paper. The headline read, Family Fraud Case Expands. Multiple victims come forward. 3 other families have contacted my office, Hamza explained. Your mother apparently managed their finances too. The DA is building a larger case. My phone rang. Dad's number. Honey! His voice was tight. Your mother's been arrested. They found her trying to access a safety deposit box at the bank. She had passport and tickets to Mexico. Before I could process this, another call beeped through. An unknown number. Ms. Hopkins? A woman's voice asked. This is Sandra from Stanford's financial aid office. We've been following your case, and in light of the circumstances, we'd like to discuss your options for the upcoming semester. I put the phone on speaker as Sandra continued. The university would like to offer you a hardship scholarship. Your academic record is exceptional, and we believe you've demonstrated remarkable resilience. Tears welled up in my eyes. Lara squeezed my hand. Additionally, Sandra added, several alumni have reached out wanting to contribute to your education fund after seeing your story. After the call, Hamza's assistant rushed in. Jason's here. He's insisting on seeing you. My brother looked terrible, unshaven, dark circles under his eyes, wearing the same suit from court. They arrested Mom, he said unnecessarily. She was trying to run, just like she taught us. When things get tough, protect yourself first. What do you want, Jason? I made a deal with the DA. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Full confession, testimony against Mom, in exchange for a lighter sentence. They're still pressing charges, but... He swallowed hard. I'm looking at probation instead of jail time. You turned on Mom pretty quick, I observed. She turned on me first. He ran his hands through his hair. That safety deposit box? It had nearly 100,000 in cash. She was going to leave me here to face everything alone. Like mother, like son, Lara said coldly from behind me. You were ready to throw her under the bus in court, remember? Jason finally noticed her presence. Lara, baby, please. Don't. She held up her hand. I came to return this. She placed the engagement ring on Hamza's desk. Sell it. Add it to Deborah's restitution. It's worth at least 40,000, Jason protested weakly. Stolen money buys stolen dreams, Lara quoted my courthouse statement. Goodbye, Jason. After she left, Jason slumped in a chair. I lost everything. My job, my fiancé, my freedom. You lost things you never really had, I corrected him. Everything was built on lies and stolen money. Dad won't even look at me, he continued. The divorce papers were delivered yesterday. 25 years of marriage, gone. Actions have consequences. I repeated Hamza's words from earlier. The DA wants me to wear a wire, Jason said suddenly. Mom's been contacting other people, trying to move more money. They think there's a whole network. And you agreed? What choice do I have? He laughed bitterly. It's either help them or go down with her. I learned that much from Mom. Save yourself first. My phone buzzed again. Another news alert. Mom's arrest was now breaking news, complete with her mugshot. I never meant for any of this to happen. Jason stood up. I wanted to give Lara the perfect proposal. Mom made it sound so simple. Nothing about stealing is simple, I said. You both just pretended it was. As he reached the door, he turned back. Stanford called me too, asked if I wanted to make a statement about my regret and journey to redemption or something. Apparently, they're doing a whole piece on financial abuse in families. What did you say? I told them to talk to you instead. He attempted a weak smile. You're the hero of this story, sis. I'm just the cautionary tale. After he left, Hamza showed me another newspaper article. The headline caught my eye. From victim to victor. How one student's stand against family fraud inspired a movement. Ready to tell your story to a bigger audience? He asked. I thought about all the comments I'd read, all the people finding courage in my experience. Yes, I said firmly. It's time more people learned that family doesn't mean letting yourself be victimized. My phone lit up with another call from Stanford. The future I'd fought for was calling, and this time, nothing would stop me from answering. The Stanford campus sprawled before me, exactly as beautiful as I'd imagined. I adjusted my laptop on the auditorium podium, facing the packed room of students, faculty, and reporters. Thank you all for coming, I began. When I first received my acceptance letter, I never imagined I'd be standing here talking about financial abuse and family fraud. But sometimes the hardest lessons come from the people closest to us. Movement at the back of the auditorium caught my eye. Dad slipped in quietly with Hamza, both giving me encouraging nods. My mother's sentencing is tomorrow, I continued. She's facing significant prison time for decades of systematic fraud. My brother is serving probation and making restitution payments. But this isn't a story about punishment. It's about protection. About recognizing that love shouldn't cost you your future. The audience was silent, hanging on every word. Since my story went public, over 300 families have come forward with similar experiences. The FBI has opened investigations into multiple financial advisory firms that helped hide these transactions. Change is happening. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from Lara. Watching your live stream. You're amazing. P.S. Got accepted to law school. The hardest part wasn't losing the money, I said, smiling at the memory of that first devastating bank statement. It was realizing that my family saw me not as a person with dreams, but as a resource to be exploited. They called it love. They called it family duty. But real love builds you up. It doesn't tear you down. The Dean of Financial Aid stepped forward. Ms. Hopkins has helped us establish new protocols for identifying and preventing family financial abuse. Her scholarship fund has already helped 3 students reclaim their education from similar situations. Applause filled the auditorium. As it died down, a student raised her hand. How did you find the courage to fight back? By realizing I wasn't alone. I gestured to where Hamza sat. My lawyer became my mentor. My father chose truth over comfort. My brother's ex-fiancé chose integrity over love. Every person who shared their story after mine showed me that standing up for yourself inspires others to do the same. Another hand. Have you spoken to your mother since the arrest? She writes letters, I admitted. Each one explains how she did it all for the family. How I've destroyed everything she built. Yesterday's letter was different, though. For the first time, she wrote 2 words I never expected. I'm sorry. The dean returned to the podium. We have time for one more question. What would you tell someone facing a similar situation? I took a deep breath. I'd tell them that family isn't supposed to be your prison, that love doesn't demand your dreams as sacrifice, and that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is say no to people who think your future belongs to them. After the presentation, Dad hugged me tight. Your mom asked me to give you this. He handed me an envelope. It's her confession. Every account, every transaction, every person involved. She's cooperating fully with the FBI now. Better late than never, Hamza said, checking his phone. The DA says this could help dozens of other families recover their stolen funds. I have something for you too. Dad pulled out a small box. We found it in your mom's safety deposit box. Inside was Grandma's sapphire ring, the one Mom had claimed was lost years ago. She pawned it to pay for Jason's first car, Dad explained. I tracked it down and bought it back. It belongs to you now. I slipped it on, the blue stone catching the California sunlight. Ready for your first class? Hamza asked, checking his watch. Actually, I smiled, I'm teaching it. The law school asked me to guest lecture on financial fraud and family law. Dad's eyes welled up with pride. Your grandmother would have loved seeing you turn this pain into purpose. My phone buzzed again. Jason. Saw your speech online. Meeting with another family today to share my side of the story. Trying to help others avoid my mistakes. Hope that counts for something. Maybe it did. Maybe every story of fraud exposed. Every family member who chose honesty over exploitation. Every student who reclaimed their future. Maybe it all counted towards something better. I walked across the campus quad, where posters advertised next week's financial literacy workshop. Students stopped to snap photos with me, sharing their own stories of standing up to family pressure and financial abuse. The sapphire ring caught the light as I waved goodbye to Dad and Hamza. It felt right on my finger, not as a reminder of what was lost, but as a symbol of what was gained. Strength, truth, purpose, and most importantly, the knowledge that sometimes fighting for your dreams means fighting the people who should have protected them in the first place. That's a lesson worth teaching.